it is Erica back on the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel today, and today we are going to be making some fun stuff. Yes, we are. So I have grabbed some goodies here, and I sort of had a plan that I'm going to use the Damask Meraki motifs and the coordinating die cuts. I actually put these together in like one of those Avriel large sleeves to keep everything together. And then I also got this Timeless Elegance Meraki shimmer plate out because I thought, you know what, we're going to butterfly it up today. And we are also going to be using the Emperor Wings Meraki Paradise. So if you have seen one of my previous videos, you know that I have already made a load of butterflies. So I thought, you know what, we're going to use some of those today. And we're also going to be going for, I mean, I know this looks kind of pastel-y, but we are going to have some purple and pinkish flowers, and then we're going to go for some kind of greeny, turquoisey, and then kind of tealy leaves. So on the stencils, you will notice that there is like little markings. So I am going to be using the markings for the A2 card size. So it's 4.25 by 5.5 inches. And then on the back of the cardstock, I'm going to be using a little bit of post-it tape so that I can like keep my little panel stuck to the stencil. So if you are using the actual card size, you know, this is a great way of keeping your stencil in place instead of having to, you know, try to just hold it in place, because that can be a little bit tricky, I'm not gonna lie. So here we are getting all our inks out and our brushes, and I am going to be using sort of the full-size brushes as well as a couple of little mini brushes. So I do like to have both on hand for those times when I'm used to big brushes for like the big areas, and then when I want to do like little shading or do, you know, like the finer details, I will go in with the little brushes. So again, I'm a little bit extra like that, so you know, you don't have to be extra if you don't want to. I just like having all of these tools and brushes so that I can always, you know, grab what I need and just kind of like get on with it. I don't have to clean the brushes in between. I can just get on with it. So here you can see what I mean with, you know, I've gone in with a big brush first, and then I'm just going to go with the smaller brushes like around the edges to kind of, you know, bring in a little bit more depth and detail. So this is what the first layer looks like, and then what we're going to do is we're going to use those markings on the stencils, and we are going to place the second stencil right on top, and we're going to press down onto that post-it tape to keep it in place. And then we're going to start blending with our second colors, and because I'm bringing in a little bit of purple and a little bit of pink on each flower, you do have to, you know, just kind of control your movements a little bit so you don't overlap too much. So if you want the colors to kind of stand out on their own a little bit, you do have to separate them a little bit. If you want a really, really good blend, just go to town. So here I thought, you know what, maybe I need a little bit more color on that first layer. So either like don't be heavy-handed on your second layer and third, or go in a little bit heavier with your first layer. So I'm actually gonna just go in with a little bit of more color on top here. So it's just to kind of make it all just a little bit more colorful, basically. So we're gonna move on to stencil number 3, and then we are going to do exactly the same thing. Line it up with the little markings, press down on your post-it tape, and then ink blend to your heart's content. Oh yes. Now this is where the little brushes come in super, super handy, because sometimes it is a little bit tricky to get the color in the little areas. So having those mini itty bitty brushes, these are actually from the Rabbit Hole Designs. They are just so cute and they're so handy and they make such a big difference. They really do. And now here is what all of the flower layers look like. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our greens and turquoise. And we're going to do the same thing. So with the leaves, we only have 2 layers. So we are going to mix and match all of these colors together. So we're going to go in first with a little bit of green here and there. And then we're going to go in with a little bit of the kind of minty green and a little bit of the sort of teal or aquamarine, I suppose I should say, because it does actually say aquamarine on it. But it's just, I like, you know, kind of slightly kind of otherworldly foliage for some reason. I don't, you know, I go for kind of like either really sort of yellowy or pinky flowers, and then, you know, the leaves can be whatever color. It doesn't have to be natural whatsoever. But for the flowers, I do tend to go a little bit more traditional, and for the leaves, I'm like, let's play. So that's just what I do. So you can see here, I'm going in and out with all sorts of different colors to get a really good blend and just kind of get like a really good overall color coverage. And then you will notice as well that I am going in with a microfiber cloth every now and again, just to clean off some of that excess ink so you don't get contamination. So here we are going to do our final layer, and this one is all about the detail. So again, I'm going to go in with some of the itty bitty brushes to just make sure that I get all of those like fine little details. And also, if you are wanting to kind of blend one color to another in a really small area, it's so much easier to do that with a small brush rather than a big brush. So that is a top tip from me to you. You are welcome. Yes, you are. We are almost finished here, but I will actually let you know that I did go ahead and I did do another panel as well with almost the same kind of colors, except I did not do that last layer that we're looking at right now. No, I did not. And the reason for that was because I had a plan. I did. Oh, yes. So here is the first panel. You can see with all the details. And here is the second one that is done kind of in the same colors, except for a little bit more opaque. And, you know, the reason I wanted to leave one without those extra details on it was because, as I said, I had a plan. And that plan involves a Posca pen. Yes. So, because these are layering stencils, they don't actually come with like outline stamps. But that doesn't that doesn't mean that you might not want to have some of those details. So to kind of get a bit of a heat embossed look, I decided I'm going to outline all of these leaves with a gold Posca pen. And if you haven't heard of a Posca pen, it's basically like a gel pen, but I have so much better results with a Posca pen rather than a gel pen. For some reason, my gel pens all just kind of like dry out. So I do go for a Posca pen rather than gel pens, even though they are a little bit more expensive. For me, I feel like if I buy one of those, I know it's going to last me a long time and it's not going to dry up. It's not going to be all like difficult. So for me, that is a great way of spending my money, because I know I'm going to get a good value for money rather than just having to buy another gel pen after like a week. I don't know. So here we are, and as you can see, you know, it just like those little gold details just add so much fun. Yes, I love how that turned out. But then I looked at this and I thought, I think this one needs a little bit of sparkle too, because what card doesn't? So I decided to add a little bit of gold watercolor splatters. Yes, I know, I always do this, but it just looks so good, right? Doesn't it? And I've used the light gold in the Gansai Tambi Starry Color watercolor palette. It is such a delicate gold. It's not like super overpowering. It doesn't take away too much. It just adds that little. So for these cards, obviously we are going to be adding a butterfly, and I picked out these two because, you know, this one is like pink and sparkly. And then this one, I thought this one would go great with the gold. Yeah? So, you know, and also you might notice that I haven't actually used all of the layers in this one. It comes with 3 layers. And if you do use all 3 layers, you it will give you a really, really amazing butterfly. It really will. But I had such fantastic backgrounds on these ones that I thought, you know what, I don't want to kind of cover up too much of it, because I really wanted that sort of shimmery and glittery background bits to kind of pop. So I decided to, you know, just use the 2 layers instead of all 3. So that's another way of just, you know, kind of changing up your supplies a little bit, and, you know, making sure that not everything looks exactly the same all the time. So on this one as well, though, I will be using the coordinating die cut to just cut this out. And then, because I didn't use the final or the last layer of the stencil, you will notice that there's a couple of white bits there, because they are only actually on the 5th stencil. So I decided to just cut them off. And I'm being a little bit careful where I place my scissors, so that I don't chop something off that shouldn't be chopped off. And then I thought, you know what? This background needs a little something, doesn't it? Because I was going to put it on just a white card base, but then I thought, you know what? I'm going to get my solid hot foil plate out, and I'm going to use some of these negatives that I've been, because I may have gone a little bit cray-cray with the foiling when I got this new release. So I have all of these negative foils. So I thought, you know what, this would be a good opportunity to just use one of those, because, you know, why not, right? It's great fun. Now, what I am doing here is actually I'm taping the foil down to my cardstock. It's slightly bigger than an actual card base, so that I know that it's not going to like just slip slide all over the place. And I'm going to place this directly onto the solid hot foil plate and put the shims on top, even though it wasn't actually ready at the time. But I do feel with the solid hot foil plate, it needs to be really, really, really hot. So I do generally leave it on for like at least a good 10 minutes before I then start foiling. And I roll it through very slowly once, and then back through again as well. And sometimes I even add like an extra little shim with just another piece of paper. Like, it just has to be like cheap printer paper, and that will make such a difference. And you can see here, I mean, it's all like peel and reveal. Look at that goodness. Yeah, I know there was a little bit of a stop and pause because of the tape, you know, but it just came out amazing, absolutely amazing. So I'm going to trim this down just a little bit. So you can see here it's 4 by 5¼ inches. So we're going to place this on a card base so that you get that nice white frame. And we're just going to stick this down with some double-sided tape. And then we're going to add our beautiful, beautiful flowers and our little butterfly. And we're going to finish it off with a sentiment. And then we're going to finish off the second card as well, of course, because, you know, otherwise I would be a little bit of a fraud, wouldn't I? Why am making 2 bits of pieces with just 1 card? Although I suppose I could have ended up in one of those other use up my ready-made bits videos. But nope, not today. We're going to do 2 cards. So the first one, as I said, I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue here. We're going to add plenty to make sure that nothing pops up. But you don't have to cover like the entire inside. If you just go around the kind of, what am I looking for? The word, the border, you'll be fine. And on this butterfly, I wanted it to be kind of lifelike. So I not glued down the whole thing. I've just glued in the middle, and then I'm going to raise up those wings a little bit. And then, you know what? I almost forgot about sentiment. Yeah, no, crazy, right? But I decided, you know what, we're going to make these birthday cards because I'm always in need of birthday cards, you know. And I decided to use a couple of these birthday wishes sentiments that are actually from the Love Like No Other set. So these are cut out from the EAP, the Effortless Artistry paper packs. But if you want to get the stamps, you can just stamp or heat emboss them in whatever color you want, and then just cut them out with the coordinating die cuts. On the second card, I decided I'm going to go just like make it flat, really, really flat. Because sometimes it's a bit tricky to mail these things if they're, you know, got lots of dimensions and layers and textures and stuff. And although I love the textures, I love dimension. If you're mailing something, it is generally easier if it's quite flat. But there are the two cards, and I really hope you have enjoyed this video, and I would love to hear which card you think is, you know, your favorite. And don't forget to subscribe to the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you very soon again. Bye for now.